everyone, today I'm really excited to do this comparison. We're going to be comparing the Sony 85mm f1.4 GM1 versus the GM2. I'm personally curious to see how these two compare out on location. We're going to be doing a dreamy portrait photo shoot here in the park. Let's get started. I would love if you could stand like just literally here. And I want to shoot like with the whole kind of footpath here. It looks so dreamy. We all need to move back. I'm on an 85. Oh, that's so cool. Wow. So this is a head to toe shot and there's like lots of space up top. But yeah, for this one, you can like be like quite stretchy and like kick your legs and move the dress around, like that kind of, yeah, look, that's beautiful. Got lots of bokeh here to look at too. For today's photo shoot, I'm using both these lenses on two Sony a7 IV camera bodies, which are set up exactly the same. That looked really cool. If you like lift the dress so we could see like one of your legs, like as if you're pretending to walk, kind of, yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I have a handful of comparisons to share with you today that we took in different locations with different compositions, so we can take a look at these lenses side by side to see if it's worth upgrading, if you should stick to your Mark I, or if there's a big difference. And there are a couple of interesting things I found by doing this experiment. I'm wondering, is it possible for you to do, even if it's super slow so you don't trip, just like a little spin on the spot? I'll be sharing all the unedited 100% crops of the straight out of camera photos, so make sure you're watching in 4K to be able to see all these details, and afterwards the edited version of the photo. I edited all these photos with my earthy preset pack. I thought I should give my Havana pack a rest for a little while since I have been using it so much recently. Okay, and then if you want to come, oh actually we'll go up there. Walked into a spider web. I'm okay. They're creepy. I feel like if you sit just here, that would look so nice. Kind of like it, like one leg like that and one leg up. Yeah. It's really nice. Let's start off with image quality. One of the first things that is most noticeable when looking at these comparison images is the color cast. I found the GM1 has a warmer cast to the straight out of camera photos compared to the GM2, which is a bit cooler. I had the same white balance for both cameras, by the way. In saying that, this is something which is extremely easy to change or make look the same with editing. In my after images, you'll see the color cast isn't strong enough to make a huge difference in the final images. When you take a closer look at both images side by side, you can also tell the GM2 is sharper. To my eyes, the sharpness helps the subject pop in the frame a little bit more. On paper, the GM2 does have better corner sharpness, which on location, while you might not be paying attention to the corners of the frame, this does contribute to the lens having a slightly higher quality look to it over the GM1. Whether or not that is worth upgrading for you is up to you. I think if you do a lot of beauty photography or styles of photography that require that finer level of detail, this added sharpness could be beneficial for you. I wanted to get some of that long grass as well, so we'll go for a little trek. So I think it'd be good if you crouch here. Maybe if you crouch on the side. Yeah, because I want you to be closer to the grass. We're getting somewhere. Ooh, it's just hard because like I can see the road in the background, so I need to hide it somehow. Both these lenses feel great to use out on location. The GM1 is heavier at 820 grams compared to the GM2, which is quite a light prime lens at 642 grams. To put it in perspective, the 35 1.4 GM weighs 524 grams and the 50 1.4 GM weighs 516 grams, so they are all around the same ballpark now. I will say the weight between the GM1 and 2 does make a big difference out on location. While the GM1 is perfectly fine to use for portrait photo shoots and shorter photography sessions, the weight shaved off the GM2 will be so handy for wedding photographers or people who have longer days of shooting. You can save yourself a bit of pain by using this lighter lens. Aside from the weight, the lenses are very similar. They both feature a focus ring and an aperture ring. They have a click switch for the aperture ring, an AF to MF switch, and both have a 77mm filter thread. The GM2 has 2 focus hold buttons compared to the GM1, which has 1, and the GM2 also features an iris lock switch, which the GM1 does not. This is so nice. Oh my gosh. We'll get a couple more here. Maybe you could cross your arms actually.
Let's take a look now at what I think we all came here for, which is the bokeh. I found a spot in our location where we could have a lot of distance between Julie and the tree in the background to be able to produce some bokeh for us to look at. You might notice in the GM1 shot there is a thick line running through some of the bokeh. This is just because of a piece of grass that happened to move into the foreground of the photo, so it's not actually a characteristic of the bokeh. At first glance, the bokeh looks extremely similar. Like, wow, it is really difficult to tell them apart or see any differences at all. For me personally, that's enough for me to use either lens with confidence. I'm not one to pixel peep for my personal work, as for me, the connection with your client and the way you interact with your clients and make them feel in front of the camera is always going to be more important than little details like this of your gear, so please keep that in mind. But in saying that, I know that's not why you're here. So if I had to nitpick, there are a couple of differences between the two lenses. The first thing I noticed is there is slightly more fringing around the GM1 bokeh. This can cause some backgrounds to look even busier than they already are, or it'll add an extra step for you to have to fix in post if the look bothers you. The GM2 bokeh also looks a little clearer and more pronounced. Aside from that, the depth of field looks the same out on location. In terms of performance, for a portrait photo shoot like this, both lenses had extremely sticky and accurate autofocus on the subject. When culling my images, it was not obvious if there were more in-focus images from one lens to the other, which I'm not too surprised about. I have been a long-time user of the 85mm f1.4 GM1, and it's always been great for me out on location, whether I'm using it for travel or portraits or wedding photography. I've never had any major complaints about the performance. Where you will start to see the difference is when shooting either a high-speed subject for video or using these lenses on a high-speed camera. The 85 GM1 makes use of an SSM, which is a supersonic wave motor drive system for autofocus.
Like hiding in here. And then I also need to get like a headshot. Might just do it here because the light is really pretty.
The 85 GM2 makes use of two XD linear motors, and because of that, it's able to support shooting up to 120 frames per second on the Sony A9 III or 30 frames per second on the A1 and A1 II. So, should you upgrade or stay put? If you're looking into getting your first GM85, should you spend more on the GM2 or just stick to the Mark I? This is what I think. I'm a longtime owner of the 85 1.4 GM1, and I did end up purchasing the GM2. One of the biggest deciding factors for me to upgrade was ergonomics. I love how much smaller and lighter the GM2 is. It really does make a big difference for me, both in my camera bag and when I have it on my holdfast straps or cameras to shoot with. I was personally really wanting Sony to release an 85 f1.2 lens, which I know it would be much bigger and heavier, so if I can't have an f1.2 lens, then I may as well get this one to save some weight in the meantime. The next reason to upgrade is due to image quality. The GM2 does have better optical performance with less chromatic aberration and better overall sharpness to the image. This can help your subject pop in certain situations, such as those photos of Julie in the last comparison where I was shooting through the long grass. The GM2, in my opinion, helps her pop a little bit more in the frame. If you want a high-end 85 but want to save a little bit of money, the GM1 is still an extremely capable portrait lens that produces beautiful results. At the end of the day, there are minimal differences between the GM1 and 2. They are both amazing lenses. One last thought I want to leave you with is if you're wondering if you even need a GM lens at all, I do also have a comparison between the GM1 versus the 85mm f1.8. And I'll leave it linked down below if you're interested in watching. That's all I have for today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Which ones were your favorite photos? And do you have a preference between these two lenses? Let me know. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I make new videos every single week, so I'll see you all next time. Bye.